Stop for a moment. Not later. Not when everything feels easier. Right now. Because this is not an accident. The words "case closed" are being spoken over your life in this very moment, and there is a reason you were meant to hear them today. Something has been happening behind the scenes of your struggle, something you could not see while you were fighting through it. While you were pushing forward, holding on, doing your best just to make it through each day, there was movement taking place beyond your awareness. And before this message ends, something inside you is going to shift. You're going to understand why the battle that tried to wear you down has already lost its authority over your future. Because what felt like endless waiting was never the end of your story. It was the moment, right before the verdict. The moment before the gavel fell. There is a reason you paused here. A reason you didn't scroll past this. A reason you chose to listen even if you can't fully explain why. Something inside you recognized this moment before your thoughts could put it into words. Before logic could analyze it. Before doubt had the chance to interrupt it. You didn't stop because everything in your life feels settled. You stopped because something deep within you has been searching. Searching for relief. Searching for reassurance. Searching for confirmation that the weight you've been carrying will not remain forever. And the truth is, you have been carrying more than most people will ever understand. You have been strong in ways that nobody applauded. You have endured in ways that nobody fully saw. You showed up when it would have been easier to withdraw. You kept going when it would have made sense to quit. And through all of it, you remained. That quiet decision to remain, even when things felt uncertain, has been shaping something inside you. A stronger version of you. A wiser version of you. A version of you that is only now beginning to emerge. There were mornings you woke up already tired. Not just physically but emotionally. Mentally. Spiritually. Carrying thoughts that never fully rested the night before. You stepped into your responsibilities not because you felt ready but because you had no other choice. And somewhere along the way, you learned how to function, even when your confidence felt fragile. Most people saw your reliability. They saw your consistency. They saw that you kept showing up. But they didn't see the internal conversations you were having with yourself just to keep going. They didn't hear the quiet battles in your mind. They didn't see the moments where you questioned how much longer you could carry everything on your shoulders. And they didn't hear the silent prayers you whispered, just to make it through one more day. But those moments, they were not empty. They were not wasted. They were not meaningless. Because something was being built inside you that could not have been built any other way. What you thought was the end of your strength was actually the beginning of your transformation. You have lived through seasons where the future felt unstable. Where one unexpected moment could shift everything. Where peace felt temporary. And certainty felt out of reach. But in those moments you adapted. You adjusted. You stretched yourself further than you ever thought possible. You carried pressure, even when you didn't have someone to share it with. And you carried it with dignity. Even when it felt heavy. Even when it felt unfair. Even when it felt like too much. There were nights when your thoughts circled the same questions over and over again. Searching for answers. Searching for peace. Searching for a sign that everything would eventually be okay. And even when no clear answers came, you still found a way to wake up the next day. You still found a way to continue. And that endurance, it has been quietly transforming you this entire time. For a long time, it felt like something was working against your peace. Like every step forward came with resistance. Like progress itself was being delayed. Not because you were weak. Not because you lacked faith. But because anything that carries purpose, will always face opposition. There were moments when discouragement whispered to you that nothing would change. Moments when exhaustion tried to convince you to settle for less than what you deserve. Moments when giving up felt easier than holding on. But what you couldn't see then, is what you're beginning to understand now. That resistance was never permanent. It was temporary. And it never had the authority to define how your story ends. Those moments were not just testing your strength. They were revealing it. They were showing you that your endurance is stronger than your fear. That your faith runs deeper than your doubt. That even when you felt like you were barely holding on, you were still moving forward. And even in your quietest moments, you were never alone. Even when it felt silent. Even when it felt distant. Even when it felt like nothing was changing. There was still movement. There was still purpose. There was still preparation. Because seasons like this are not meant to define you. They are meant to refine you. They separate who you used to be from who you are becoming. They build resilience that comfort could never create. They strengthen a kind of confidence that circumstances can never take away. And now something is shifting. You may not see it fully yet, but you can feel it. In the way your thoughts are becoming quieter. In the way your breathing is becoming lighter. In the way your fear is no longer as loud as it once was. That is not accidental. That is not your imagination. That is restoration beginning. Because restoration does not start on the outside. It begins within. It begins the moment you realize you survived what you once thought would break you. And that realization changes everything.